G'day guys, E53 here and welcome back to another video. Wanted to just start out with a quick apology. There hasn't been a lot of content going up lately. I've had the Daytona 24 hours of iRacing that I actually did a couple of weekends ago now, and that didn't go that well, but I was racing for a team, and in those circumstances I always think it best to try and give them your full attention and not try and turn the thing into a video or anything like that. So I didn't do that. From what I can tell by some of the posts on the Facebook pages, the various iRacing Facebook pages around, I was one of the only people who didn't win. But yeah, we had a good time anyway, and it was certainly an experience, my first experience of 24-hour racing, and it certainly was good to get in there with the Nexus team and have a go at it. So very good times. But that did take my focus away a little bit from the video making, and also I've had a little bit of a cold, so I hope that my voice isn't too ordinary, but I do apologise for that as well. Hope it doesn't sound terrible. But what it has done is, obviously, being a bit unwell, I haven't been at work, so it's given me the chance to look at a few different things and just perhaps catch up with some stuff that I wasn't necessarily getting done before over the weekend. So one of those things is that I've gone back and had a look at one of the legendary racing sims from the past, almost 20 years ago now. And that is, of course, Jeff Cramman's Microprose Grand Prix 4, which, as the name suggests, was the fourth game in the series, and was also the last one. So it's sort of been, I guess, thought of ever since as the ultimate version of those Grand Prix games, and it's taken really a long time for a lot of things to catch up with it. It's been ahead of its time in so many ways. As I mentioned, it's the fourth one in the series. There was the original Microprose Grand Prix, which simulated the 1991 season. Then there was Grand Prix 2, which simulated 1994. Grand Prix 3 simulated 1998. And this final version here actually simulates the 2001 season. So it's coming up to 20 years old. In a couple of years it's going to be 20 years old. So what I'm really looking at doing in this video is having a look at it and see if in 2019 it's still something that's playable, if it's still something that is really worth space on your hard drive, although by today's standards it doesn't take up much space, but whether or not it's actually worth dusting off and having a quick go at. So just to give you a bit of an idea of the detail that is in this game. And I should be calling it a sim really, because it's although it's 20 years old and has some limitations based on that, it is still very much a sim, was aimed to be a sim. And some of the features that it's actually got in this sim is, first of all, dynamic weather effects. The weather will change throughout a race or a qualifying session or practice. It'll rain, it'll stop raining, you'll kind of get half rain spitting. When it starts to dry off, you'll get a dry line forming around the track, and the weather effects are really very good. And that's something that there's a lot of sims that haven't even brought that in yet. Assetto Corsa iRacing, they don't have rain. I know there's a mod for Assetto Corsa, which we will cover in another video pretty soon actually, once I get it all set up, because I've only just got it, that allows you to put weather effects and everything into Assetto Corsa, but as you buy it, it doesn't have it, and it has it in this, which is quite amazing for something that's 20 years old. Secondly is random mechanical failures. These are mechanical issues with the cars, your own car, AI cars, that have nothing to do with the way you drive them. In modern day sims, you tend to find that yes, you can blow your car up if you drive it badly, but these are just the types of mechanical failures that just happen to drivers from time to time, and there's nothing you can really do about them. It really helps to add to the level of the immersion of the championship that you might be racing. Always the chance of that kind of thing happening. And in terms of the AI as well, the AI for the time was incredible, and today it's still pretty damn good. You never get any of those scenarios where the AI is overly fast or slow at different tracks or different corners where they're just unrealistic. They will block you if you try to overtake them. They will even go as far as dummying you when they're trying to overtake you. They follow real-life pit strategies as well. If you remember back in the 2000s, early 2000s, when you had refueling, people would have 1, 2, 3 stop strategies and so on. That's all modelled in there as well. The various performance gains or losses of having heavy or light fuel is modelled. The AI will pit when the weather changes, realistically going onto intermediate or wet tyres or anything. And you have a telemetry option inside the game as well, where you can actually look at your telemetry and combine different laps and compare. The setups are very in-depth, although strangely, and I don't know why this is, there's nothing you can do with the tyre pressures, which is a bit weird. But the rest of the setup is really in-depth, and it changes the car as you'd expect it to, what feels realistic. But as you'll probably see from the video that you're looking at now, it is starting to look a little bit dated. The graphics are nowhere near. It's certainly not an F1 2019 or an Assetto Corsa or anything like that. And as well, the physics are definitely dating. They're not bad, but they're definitely not the latest, as you'd expect for a sim that's 20 years old. Now, the other thing about this game is, because it's been so legendary, there is quite an extensive community of modders and so on working on the game, keeping it up to date, and just adding different seasons and various pieces of content that you can download. But I will stress that this sim is not mod friendly at all. It's a lot of work to mod it, and sometimes there are just things in there that make no sense when you try to mod them, and that you've just got to live with. It's not really mod friendly, and I'll give you some examples. You must have 11 teams, 22 cars. You can't change that. So if you are trying to mod the game to a season where there are less than that, you must have one fake team in there to make up the numbers. And if you want more teams than that, say you're modelling 1989 or something where there was 30 odd cars trying to qualify, that won't work either. You've got to pick 11, and that's what you're stuck with. You also must have 17 tracks. You're not able to lengthen or shorten schedule at all. There's 17 slots for tracks, and that's what the game has. You can't change qualifying rules, so there's going to be no 3-part qualifying, elimination qualifying. There's got to be no tyre rules as per the modern days, where you've got to use the different compounds, hard compounds or anything like that. There's no way to take the refueling out of it. So it's really not mod friendly from that perspective. Although there are many seasons available, there are people that have modded it all the way up to the 2018 season. I prefer not to do that with GP4, simply because there's always compromises. The further you get away from 2001, the more compromises you have to make in terms of things I just mentioned. So for myself, I generally try and keep any modding I do to this to seasons around about that early 2000s era, where things are still going to be fairly accurate. There is a patch that you can get for it called Gpx Patch that controls the game, the TV graphics. It has like different style TV graphics that you can upload into the game. Car performance as well. One of the odd things about GP4 is the player's car always has the same performance, regardless of which team you choose. This gives you a little tick box to make it so you can limit your car's power and grip based on, say for example, if you drive a Minardi, you're not going to be as fast as if you drive a McLaren. Just a bit of realism there. And for myself, I've actually just updated the game graphically, is all I've done. I've kept the 2001 season because that's the season under which it runs best, and I've just upgraded the graphics on the cars and the tracks to just bring it a little bit more in line with today. Quite thankfully, I have been able to alter the resolution to make it fit my new wide monitor, so you're going to see a little bit about that as well, and how that sort of affects things. But we're going to answer the question about whether or not this game is worth of space on your hard drive today, whether it's still playable, whether it still gives a reasonably good account of itself. So we'll actually just jump into the modded version of the game now. You have been watching the original, I guess, vanilla standard version of the game. I'm going to jump in now, and we're going to run around a little bit with the graphics updated to something a little bit more modern, and see how it stacks up. Okay guys, so here we are actually in the game itself, and as you can see probably a little bit of flicking at the side of the screen, and that is because the menus, for whatever reason, don't like the extra width of the ultra-wide monitor I'm using. But the game's fine with it, so it's just something I put up within the menus, even if it is a little bit annoying and seizure-inducing. So I thought I would jump in with do a race as Kimi Räikkönen. See how young he is there, actually first season in the Sauber. And of course in 2019, this coming season, he's going back there. So we'll jump in with Kimi in the Spanish Grand Prix. I'll just probably start off, just show you a quick race. You can do a full championship or a non-championship race that has full practice and qualifying, and everything's quite in depth as well. But that's probably a little bit long for what I want to show you today. So we'll just jump into a quick race with Kimi, and of course in the options you can actually set how long you want a quick race to be. I've got them set to be around about in between 12 and sort of 15 laps, so it should give us a good idea of what the car's actually capable of, what the game's actually capable of, and everything else. So I'll just jump in here very quickly and change my starting position. I was playing as Alonso a bit earlier on, so starting towards the back. As we know, the Sauber's qualified a bit better, so I'll just have in there a P9 just for realism's sake. And speaking of realism over here as well, you've got all the options for the various mechanical failures you can have. You can turn those off if you want. The AI can't turn them off. So that's just one thing to remember. I always have them on because the one thing about this game is the immersion factor of it. It's probably better immersion than probably anything else that I've played. And I haven't played, I will admit, any of the latest Codemasters Grand Prix games. That just haven't really appealed to me for whatever reason, but I've heard they're quite good in that regard as well. So we'll just jump into the race here. As you can see, you get the weather report. Looks like there's no rain on the way. It's just a little bit overcast. You can elect to do something with your car setup last minute. There's no reason for me to do anything with that. The default setups for the various circuits are actually very good, so there's no reason for us to do anything with that. We're only playing on the semi-pro level. I will mention as well that I am playing on the keyboard. You can get a wheel to work with it. It is by default set up for a wheel, but I just haven't been able to get the brake pedal working properly. So I will be able to get it. I know it does work, but I'll just go back to playing it for the purposes of this the way I used to play it when I was a kid, and that is with the good old keyboard. Alright, so we're away, and you can see already how much better the graphics look. Just having a little nibble at the back of Ralf Schumacher there. You can see Nick Heidfeld up a little bit further, my teammate. Got a BAR there on the inside, he's got us. Rubens Barrichello next to us in the Ferrari. Got one on the outside there. Looks like Ralph is going to stay there around the outside. Got Montoya going for a move up behind us. You don't get down there that easy, mate. Ralph's still on the outside. Really stops us from accelerating too early. Probably hear me stabbing at the power a little bit. That is because I am playing with the keyboard. But just to give you a bit of an idea about how well, we'll look at a quick replay because, just ran across the grass there. We'll have a look at a quick replay because I just want to give you guys a bit of an idea of how well these cars actually interact with one another. You can already see how much better the graphics is. I mean, the cars don't even behave this well together on Assetto Corsa or anything like that. some of the default cars do, but some of the modded cars, you know, you see running off the road, you see guys crashing and stuff like that. Look how well the cars actually just interact with one another. It looks as though you're watching a real race, and that's something that you can't often say with a lot of sims. So if we're looking in the mirrors there, we can still see we've got Montoya all over us. We're going to try and extend on him if we can. But of course, if you remember back to the 2001 season, that BMW in that thing had some crazy horsepower. So I doubt very much the customer Ferrari in this is going to be able to keep him behind. As we all know, regardless of what the regulations say, customer Ferrari engines are never that good. Just struggling in the dirty air a little bit of the cars in front. It's just causing us to run a bit wide. Didn't do Montoya much harm though. He's coming up alongside of us. There he goes, pulling up next to us. Try and outbrake him if I can. No, he's got that move done. But it looks like everyone's starting to stack up behind these Jordans here in front. They got a very good start, but they haven't got the pace to really run with it. The famous trolley train looks like it's happening. I think I've got Villeneuve there looking for a run on us. Or is it Panis? I can't tell which one of those, the BARs it is. It might be Panis actually. Run off the track, giving that position away, well done. Car's still battling up the front. We're just going to try and make some inroads there. Big pack of cars battling up here, and the one thing that AI will make mistakes as well, and you know, if they do have an accident and the wheel comes off, if you hit that wheel or a piece of their front wing, you're going to damage yourself as well. The pit crew animations are really good. You've got full pit crew animations in the pits if they have to take your nose cone off or take the tyres off. It's all fully animated. Hopefully I won't get the opportunity to show you that. I don't really want to break anything. Just struggling to get it turned. It's understeering quite a lot. As a result, we got this Jag right up our backside now. I think that's Irvine. Of course, the good thing about these downloaded high-res skins as well is you get to have your cigarette advertising back. You'll notice there's Marlboro written across the rear wing of that Ferrari in front of us. Alright, looks like Irvine's having a look. He's forcing his way down the inside there, he's had to back out of it. Looks like he's actually missing a piece of his front wing, maybe? Oh no, just a little old-timey graphical thing. Okay, these guys have really slowed up. Maybe that Jordan's got damage, possibly. Maybe not, maybe it's just the way they're battling. We had an Arrows join the party behind us now as well. It's quite frantic here in the midfield. Running P12 at the moment. And everybody who's getting past this Jordan is absolutely clearing off, so we can see where the roadblock is. Oh, made a big mess of that. Way too late in the brakes. Alright, see if we can settle down a bit and start making some laps. Might even get the opportunity to put a move on Rubens. As we can see, we just got a map pop up in the corner there, just showed that there was a yellow flag there briefly, so something's happened to someone. Looks like there's a car around and they've recovered. That's one of the little things that Gpx Patch puts in. Okay, so now it's going to be our turn to attack this Jordan. Keep Irvine back there. Oh, he's forced it right down the inside there. I went to block him and he stuck it right down there anyway. Just having a look at the helmet in the mirrors, that looks like Jos Verstappen behind us. I wonder if he ever had any kids. The thing about the AI as well, I mean, even when you're driving Monaco in the rain, they still have the odd accident, as you'd expect, as real life would have it, but they don't, it's not stupid. You know, it's not like, if you remember GP Challenge or something like that from those days, where you'd get, you run a Monaco in the dry, and you'd win the race because the entire field would lose a wing. That doesn't happen here. Looks like Frentzen ahead. I assumed with the race pace it'd be Jarno Trulli, but it's not. So if we can put a move on him. Oh, that was dodgy. We got it done just about. Yes, we have. Oh, that was not safe. At least that gets Verstappen off us. For now. It's really hard to believe looking at this that it's 20 years old nearly. 18 years old, I think. After all that frantic racing, it's kind of cooled down a bit. We're kind of just out here on our own. There's an apex there somewhere. And when you get a yellow flag in this game, it's not just like a little yellow flag appears in the corner. You actually have marshals run out onto the track with yellow flags, as they used to do. They don't anymore, they hide behind the fence now, but back in the day, they used to run out to the side of the track with their yellow flags and wave the flag, and checkered flag man still does that in this game. And if you come off the track and you retire, the marshals will come out and push your car away and then hoist it away on a crane. It's very, very well done. Well, there's somebody off. It slowed these guys up ahead massively. It must have been Benaldi because Verstappen's behind us. See if we can make some inroads on these guys up front. Rubens Barrichello's up there, hasn't got a lot of pace. Irvine making a move on him now, trying to. Most of the time, you know, the performances are quite accurate. The Ferraris will run 1-2 most of the time, as they did in 2001, but they do have off days where they have issues or they can't get their setup right or whatever. And it appears like that bad start has really put Barrichello down amongst it. And he doesn't appear to have that much raw pace either, because there's Irvine going at him. Shouldn't think he's going to get it done in a straight line. No, he won't, not against that Ferrari. You can see him weaving all over the place, trying to block each other and everything else. Just the way they interact with you and the way they interact with each other is just brilliant. Here goes Irvine again. Will he get it done this time? No, Barrichello closes the door. This is all great for us, of course, because it means we're catching him. Doing my best, they're quick. There's something about as well, I mean, you can download modded seasons for modern games. You could download 2001 for any number of sims that are on the market at the moment. But there's something about playing a title that was made in the time that it's representing. I don't know what it is, but that immersion factor is just a little bit higher when you know you're dealing with something that was actually made in period. Irvine's got that done. Now can the customer Ferrari beat the works Ferrari? Only got a couple of laps to do it. This race has flown by. Now that he's got that clear air, it seems as though Rubens has got the measure of us on pace. now that he's not battling with Irvine. Just watch a little bit of a replay, might skip up the field a little bit, see what's happening near the front. And of course on Gpx Patch you've got I was just trying to bring up a graphic and for some reason it's not working, but never mind. But if you have an actual look at the detail on the cars, it's a big step up from previous, I guess the original version of the cars. Hey, there's Shuey's Ferrari, and of course you've got all the on-car views as well. So, very impressive stuff for a game this old. 2 laps to go. Unless Rubens makes a mistake. I just don't think we're going to have what it takes to get round him. Alright, well that makes our life easier because Verstappen is out and he was the car behind us. Had a transmission failure and he's out of the race. Hopefully nothing like that afflicts us. Oh, for goodness sake, driven straight off onto the grass. And that has really gotten rid of any chance we had of having a crack at Barrichello, sadly. Just lost concentration for a sec while I was just looking up at that little map graphic that was showing where there was a yellow flag on the track, and I've just run off, so that's life. Anyway, final lap. A bit disappointed with P12. I thought we might have been able to get up a little bit higher than that. And Ralf Schumacher's won the race. There we go. So we are a fair way behind, but that's not unusual for this day and age, that there are a lot higher performance differences between the cars than there are today. You know, we would have gone a few laps down in this race, but 2 laps down if it had run full distance, which is about right. And they do put a lot of attention into that kind of thing as well. Like for example, if you do run the opponents on full strength, they do the real life lap times of what they did in period. So here we are, checkered flag man will be out. There he is. And that's it, race is over. So P12, nothing really to write home about. Just kind of wait for all the other cars to cross the line now. Everyone sort of slows down on this cool down lap. You can see we've got all the flag marshals out on the side of the track as per real life, waving the different coloured flags. Something that I've never seen any other racing sim have, but they do it here. So Occasionally they do slam the brakes on the cool down lap for some reason, don't know why, but they do. No big deal. And once all the cars across the line, it will just quit us out of the race and show us the results. Alright, and there we are. So as you can see, we've got some nice little flicky graphics at the side of the menu now as well, but it's just something you have to put up with if you want to run the wider screen. But you can go in here, have a look at the full race results. Fastest laps, lap chart if you want, how it stacks up to the real life records. I mean, in terms of best laps, we're 11th, finished 12th on the day, so it's probably not an unfair result, what we had, but Nick Heidfeld, our teammate, wasn't that much quicker than us on his fastest lap, but he was a mile up the road, so I think we got badly held up by Frentzen there after a few laps. So anyway, that is GP4, or I guess the modern version of GP4. Still worth it, I think, which is amazing after 20 years. Still worth a run. So what I'll do is I will put down in the description links to the various little tools that you do need to mod this game, and because they are quite hard to find now, there aren't too many places that actually host them, but luckily I've actually got them, so I'll upload them to Mediafire or something, and I'll put some links in there so you guys have got them. And if you do want to see a video about how to mod this game, it is difficult, but I've been doing it for that long, I do know how it all works. So if you are interested in a bit of a guide on how it works, possibly just leave a comment below and I'll put something together just detailing how that all comes together. Apart from that, as always, if you like the video, please hit like. You can come back to it later on. It'll appear in your like list on YouTube, so it'll be easily findable for you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do, because I'm doing videos all the time. So if you did like this one, you might like some more. So don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button as well. So thanks very much, and we'll see you all next time.